Welcome back, everybody. We are moving on to the suspension on our Tamiya MFX01 chassis. Pretty simple, straightforward. We're in parts bag C. Of our suspension arms. Now they do have little raised tabs on one side, not on the other, so you know which way to orient them, slide them together. Two of your 3x10 self-tapping screws. And this plastic is a little softer than the plastic we've been working with, so again, you want to be careful not to strip these out. This plastic is meant to be a little flexible, so if you run it into a curb or something like that, it'll flex a little bit instead of breaking. Tighten it down, and that's it for your A arm. Then we have our upper arm mounts. Again, that's a piece of 3mm threaded rod with the two ball end cups, and it says 6mm in between. And this again is actual size, so you can use that to check your dimension if you don't have anything to measure it with. Then we want to bring our chassis in. We have a 3x46 pin. Now this, you'll notice, is just a pin on this side. The threads are down at the bottom, up by the head. A little grease here. And slide our arm in, make sure we got it going the right direction. Slide it all the way through. You don't have to over tighten this. Tighten it down till the head bottoms out, and there's your suspension arm. Now we'll set that aside for a minute. And we're on to the shocks. Now, all four shocks are identical to the front and rear. And they are pretty simple. You have the main shock body. It has a little groove on one side, and a little cap which has a hole on one side and a little square hole on the other. We're going to put the round side up with a little groove, and then take your collar, which has a pin, has a little pin in the middle of it, and you want to just pop that over the top and lock the two together, just like that. Then you have a little plastic spacer, slides over the end. And your spring. And then you take your bottom piece. These are just friction shocks. And it has a groove in one side. You want to turn that towards you. Slide it in and then turn it 90 degrees. And that's all there is to it. That's friction shock. All four shocks are identical, like I said, so you don't have to worry about getting them mixed up. Come back in with our chassis. We have a shoulder bolt or shoulder screw, step screw they call it, 3x18, and a spacer. That is part A10. You want to slide through the shock, put the spacer on, get started. And just tighten that down until it bottoms out. You don't have to over tighten it. shock attached. Now we can set that kind of up here where we can get to it. And we have step 23, which shows installing the body post, but I'm going to wait and put those on after everything else is assembled and the electronics are installed, because they'll just get in the way. We want to take our drive cup, just a little drive cup, has the slots in the end of it, and one of the little rubber O-rings. The rubber O-ring has to go inside that drive cup. And just take the dog bone and push it all the way in there, all the way down to the bottom. And we can slide that in. You might have to kind of line things up a little bit. And there's drive cup in. Next up, we want to get our arms. Now this is where our high ground clearance comes into play, is how we assemble the rest of the suspension. Because this piece, you'll notice, has 4 holes in it instead of just 2. To get high ground clearance, we want to use the upper holes. So we have this piece that slides over, keys over, just like that. And again, a 3x10 self-tapping. Tighten that down snug. All right. A little bit more there. Then we want to take our little ball connector, they call it. And that goes in the top hole of the gray plastic piece. Again, don't over tighten these, they will break. They are brass. Bearing, pressed in the back. Remember, use the large side of your wrench. Pop that in. And then our other drive cup, and that too gets a little rubber O-ring. Use your dog bone, push it down in place. Slide that into the bearing. Alright. Now we can bring our chassis back in. We have another step screw. That'll mount the top of our shock, through the shock, spacer. Try to keep my fingers out of the way here. out. Make sure everything still moves freely. Now, we have a 3x32 pin. We'll put just a touch of grease in here. Slide that through. There we go. Our dry coat's gonna fall out there. Again, only tighten that down till the bottom's out. Now this part gets a little bit tricky, but not much. We're going to take our dog bone, this little guy here, looks like a dog bone, a little grease on both ends. Don't need a lot, just enough to lubricate where it presses against the O-ring. Needle nose pliers might come in handy. You have a pair laying around. Take hold of it. Slide that in. And raise it up. Then we take our cup. Hold all this together at one time. Pop that over. Pop that over. And that is the rear suspension. Not a lot of travel, but more than you would think. Alright, and I will do the other side off camera, and then when we come back next time, we'll work on the front suspension. So until next time,